Welcome, everybody, to By the Railside podcast, where we review movies. Did that sound weird? It sounded weird to me.
I mean,
Nope.
you're weird. So
You sound weird to me.
Yeah. Okay. I'm your host, Zach, and this is, to my left, Jeff.
I'm actually to your right.
Oh, fuck. And to my front is Jordan.
I'm actually behind you, but okay.
Oh, my God.
Always
But if
behind you.
If you go east far enough, you'll eventually find me. It's okay.
That is
Did you know
true.
you can go east forever, but you can only go north for a certain amount of time?
And then you're heading south.
Yep.
I don't like it. I need God to patch it, please.
No.
Patch.
Yeah. Patch notes from God.
What's the next update? My body
This
still
one's
has a
sad.
bunch of bugs.
This week, we reviewed the Avengers, the very great film, the team up of all the films that we've watched previously. But if you haven't already, follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/bytherailside, where you can join us, where we record this live in front of everyone. And follow us on Twitter. We post rarely. And then follow us on Instagram, where we also hardly post.
Hell yeah.
Now, of the Avengers. We all said it's a team up, but Jordan, what is it about, really?
What is the Avengers?
Okay, what do you want? We got short and sweet, we got medium and sweet, and we got long and not doing it.
Thick and sweet.
Loki, the adopted brother of Thor, teams up with Chitauri army and uses the Tesseract's power to travel from Asgard to Midgard. That's not true. Don't listen to that. To plot the invasion of Earth and become a king. The director of the agency S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury, sets in motion Project Avengers, joining Tony Stank, a.k.a. the Iron Man, Steve Rogers, a.k.a. Captain America's, Bruce Banner, a.k.a. Thor, Natasha Romanoff, a.k.a. African-American widow, and Clint Barton, a.k.a. Hawkeye, to save the world from a powerful Loki and the alien invasion. Thank you, Claudio Carvalho, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. That's a very long name.
Yeah. All right. Now, we are going to first think of... Oh, fuck. I left my pen in the other room.
Fucking amateur.
I know. This is like being seen by a people.
One people.
I found one. All right. Jeff, I think you're going to rate this a solid 4. The reason for this is... Actually, no. I think you're going to go with 5. I'm going to go with 5. Like, nice in the middle review. Add a decent amount of action. The back and forth, I think it was actually pretty well written, and the characters and the dialogue were pretty nice and on point. And no shitty love story. And yeah, a 5.
How dare you?
Clearly, Thor wanted to fuck Bruce Banners.
They're setting up for Natasha Romanoff, Hawkeye, and Hulk three-way weirdness.
Nope, not at all.
100%. It's going to happen.
I'd take Hawkeye.
No, I meant love triangle, not three-way.
Yeah.
What is
It's
a
not
three-way
really-
but a love triangle?
Not really a love triangle. It's more just Natasha being weirdly slutty and then being in love with someone else.
Yeah, that's woman superhero. Weirdly slow.
Whoa!
All I'm going to say is 2 holes, 2 poles, you know?
All right.
And we're off the air.
I'm surprised I don't get punched more often, but you know what? Now that I think about it, I did get into a lot of fights in bars, and now it makes more sense to me. Man, everyone wants to fight me. Everyone's an asshole. Maybe it's me.
Yeah. Nah,
It's not.
it's never us.
It's these holes.
Yeah. It's these holes.
So what do you think I rated it, Jordan?
I think you're gonna give it a 5.4. I was gonna say 6, but last time I did that, you're like, "Oh, Jordan said this, so I'm gonna rate it less." So yeah, 5.43692.
5.43691 it is then.
Absolute fuck.
Why do you think that?
I think this movie was a little bit better done in some areas than the other ones. I found the script flowed a lot better, which I think you probably noticed. And I think a lot of the jokey stuff, it wasn't out of place. Like whenever there was an actual joke in it, it sort of fit with the characters. And like Zach said, there's no lovey subplots or anything like that.
There was clearly a lovey subplot.
No, you're wrong. She had red in her ledger. She's got to wipe it out. Wait a second. Is ledger slang for vagina?
Yeah, she was. That's why they didn't hook up. She was on her period. And,
She's just on her period the whole movie.
Yeah, Bruce is squeamish of blood.
Is that why she was talking to Barton? Like he's just like one of his bows is also a tampon?
Yeah.
Because like his fucking arrows were ridiculous. Because at one point in the movie, I'm going a little bit off topic, but I do want to talk about this. He's like, "Oh shit, I got to get down off this roof," and just like picks an arrow out of a corpse, and then it becomes a rope. So does that mean all his arrows are equipped like that?
It's part of his quiver. When he puts arrows in his quiver, he can turn something either on his bow or on the base of the quiver, and it turns and attaches a certain tip to that arrow. The next arrow that he's going to pull, how he knows that, he probably pulls from a certain rotation or whatever, but it's part of his quiver to determine what tip the arrow has.
No, yeah, I know that, but like the tip of the arrow wouldn't have anything to do with the body. So I'm thinking like, because the body literally split and sort of turned into a rope so he could get down. So I'm wondering if all his arrows were prepped like that, or if he just like happened to remember that one was right in this guy's face.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta go, gotta turn around.
I mean, they'd say it that they're all prepped like that, right? They'd probably have like it's a super thin expandable cable in the head of the arrow that gets equipped, and then the
it's a bug.
fucking shaft of the arrow is hollow, and that's what allows it to pass through and then split open. Is probably what they'd say.
Look at this guy.
Ooh.
Look at this guy thinking on his own, coming up with theories.
Yeah.
This is why we enjoy movies, Jeff, because you think about it. We're wearing them down.
Yeah. Oh, and another reason for the rating is the science kind of makes a little bit more sense.
But does iridium actually create antiprotons?
I looked it up earlier.
The answer is yes, it does.
Yeah. See? Look at that. See? Science.
Therefore, this movie is 100% accurate, quite like the World of Warcraft movie, which is Jeff's favorite.
100% scientifically accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orcs are real.
And if you have a half-orc and break their bones a lot, their bones will become
Yeah.
strong.
I dated an orc.
Which one?
I don't know. There's a lot of them.
If you say my sister.
That would be like the unorkiest orc. Yeah, we're gonna go out and we're gonna go kill this deer and slaughter it for food. And like, I want to pick a wildflower and then make those dogs fuck.
My sister wants to go hunting and kill moose.
That's a bad fucking idea.
It's so dangerous.
I have a personal rule that I will never fight an animal, even if I have a gun that is larger than myself.
That's a good rule. Because if you miss...
Is that why you wouldn't fight me?
You're not larger than me.
Wouldn't. Past tense.
I'll fight you.
All right, come on. We're getting off track here, which is
Let's bring it
okay
back around.
because I don't have a lot of notes. So
We're at a junction right now. This
Yeah.
is a train themed podcast that has nothing to do with trains. Okay,
yeah, we're just buying.
learn the terminology.
We're-
I watched that guy on TikTok.
Which guy?
He's autistic, I think, and he loves trains. But he puts a GoPro on his forehead so you can get his reaction as he like sees trains
Oh,
going
is that
past.
the guy that? Yeah.
But it's like he uses a fisheye filter or like a 360 camera, so his face is just so fucked.
Yeah, I remember that guy. Speaking of the effects of a camera, let's talk about the technical side of the Avengers. I I actually really enjoyed the CGI in this movie. And for the most part, it all seemed pretty good. I think there was a couple green screen moments that seemed a little not well done. One of them was with Bruce Banner. I can't remember. Maybe it was when they were just flying up, and it was Bruce Banner and Steve. Again, my notes are shit because I was like in this movie. I fucking I just love
Left a
these
stain
movies.
on the couch.
Yeah, big stain.
Twice.
Well, that's how it's big. It's a little hose. So. And also one of the other things, the transitions for the editing seemed really crisp in the beginning that I liked, especially when it goes from like each hero that they're recruiting. I really like that, especially when Steve was like, "Oh, you should have left in the ocean," and then it shows him walking out, and then boom, right to Iron Man in water. Great transition.
Which is a reference to his dad being in water when he found him. Wow.
Yeah. Wait.
My main complaint about the effects was one of the explosions when Hawkeye was blowing up the like super ship or whatever. The explosion in the lab itself was not shoddily done, but was of a different quality than the rest of the explosion, so it stood out to me.
Is that the one that was like sparky instead of flamey?
No, it was flamey, but it was like a different color. It was like a lighter orange. All the other ones had red tones to it, and this one was just like orange and yellow, and that's it.
It's probably
So
the LCD.
it just stood out to me.
That was the LCD monitors. The LED monitors are a different color.
Yeah, obviously, if we're doing this, you got to buy a brand new TV, Joe.
Yeah.
4K, 8K, just a lot of Ks. Not three.
Not three.
I watched a 720p version. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
That's a lot of P, not enough K.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah.
I have this problem with pretty much every Marvel movie. I forgot to bring up in the last one, but the fighting sounds are so overdone. The like punching sounds are like the most unrealistic and loud things on the planet. When Romanov and Hawkeye were fighting, it was super obvious and really took me out of it. And when Thor and Loki and them were fighting originally, it was really loud and overdone there too. And it just, whenever I hear that kind of stuff, it just rips me out and I hate it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Although, I mean, not to just like stomp all over what you said, the way I would look at it, or maybe some people look at it, is that it's done maybe as like a nod to the comics. It's like in classic comics, like what happens? They never showed someone getting punched. They just like fist cocked back, pow! Oh no, he's on the ground.
Yeah. And maybe, but I find it's a pretty common thing in like all action movies. They don't want to go with the like subtle, realistic sounds that some other movies did. Like John Wick had, at least the first one had more subtle, realistic sounds.
Yeah,
and I
slaps.
Yeah, I like that a lot more than. It's like
I agree. Although, I mean, I don't know if like it might be like geared towards kids as well. Like you don't want to actually like show them real violence. So it's like, oh no, this is just fake. He's not actually hitting him.
Yeah.
Don't want to show the real violence. Meanwhile, people's like limbs got cut off and shit.
Those aliens, though, that's fine.
Yeah.
We've been training. The human race has been training through media, like to kill aliens for generations.
Now all we need is those Black Mirror goggle things or brain control things, just to make other humans look like aliens, so we don't feel bad when we kill them.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great episode.
One other sound effect I noticed was at the beginning when the female agent, who I have no idea what her name is.
Hill.
What's that?
Agent Hill.
Is it? Okay. When she went after Loki and them, and she did the, like, 360 in the car. Not 360, 180. The tire screeching sounds were really bad. But, again, that's just... Those are real small things. Well, that one's much smaller than the fight sounds to me. That one I just noticed, kind of chuckled and said whatever, because no one gives a fuck, but...
I didn't really have any issues. Like I really enjoyed the editing in this movie. I thought it was really good, and the effects as well. The only thing I took issue with was actually at the end when they showed Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they did, like if it was entirely edited or entirely CGI, or if it was Josh Brolin in a suit or someone in a suit, because it looked like it was a guy with makeup on, except for the smile. It looked like that fucking Snapchat filter that's going
Yeah.
around. Like
Yeah.
it looked so fucking fake, and it. I don't know if they. I'm assuming they did like built the space rocks and then just put a green screen behind it because it just looked too different. Like the rocks looked like they were shittily made, and the background looked like it was just sort of chucked in there. So I think maybe I don't know if they just like ran out of budget and they're like, oh fuck, we were gonna tease Thanos, weren't we?
Yeah.
Josh,
Yeah.
get your fucking what's that purple bastard from McDonald's?
Grimace?
Yeah, get your Grimace costume, and we're gonna stick some lines on your chin.
Yeah, they definitely rushed that like after scene thing or after credits scene or mid credit scene whatever because they also forgot to CGI his hand as purple when he got up from the chair. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a random flesh colored hand. I was like, wait a minute, isn't Thanos purple? And then his face was purple, and then I googled it, and his hands are supposed to be purple. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was definitely like not necessarily an afterthought, but they definitely didn't put as much time and effort into that like 30-second scene as they did anything else.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't go back and like re-edit it because he also looks vastly different in this shot, and in I believe he made 3 appearances, right? Or I guess 2 before his actual movie.
Yeah, because there's one here, and then there's one in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I think he pops up. But this guy is not Josh Brolin.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know who it is, but I do know that they originally had it as someone else, um, and then they switched him out. They pulled him out and put Josh Brolin in instead.
Because well, I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it again, but it sounded like Josh Brolin. That's the only thing right at the end.
What did he say at the end? I don't remember him saying anything. Just like he got super happy when it was. Just,
Oh
like,
wait,
too
no, it
close
was
to death.
it was his manservant thing that was talking.
Yeah, and that's why he smiled, was because he was just like to court war with the humans or whatever, is to court death or himself, and so that's a nod to the comics because
Yeah,
Thanos is obsessed with death.
Death the entity.
Oh, so he was just getting horny.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Did
Death,
you notice
you
how
say?
he was a different color too than the rest of the
Yeah.
movies?
Yeah.
That's what I was nodding to. I just sort of trailed off, but it was I believe each time he looks different. Like
Yeah.
even in his Guardians of the Galaxy, he looks different from the Endgame movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, but I don't know why they don't go back and like edit him in and make him look better. Because like obviously they can. The movies are out. Like it wouldn't be on anyone that has a DVD or Blu-ray copy, but all the online copies you could probably fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the DVD copies.
Gross.
I don't know, DVDs and Blu-rays I think are a dying industry already because of digital media.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually watch them. I watch the ripped versions of them.
Yeah. It's just which is crazy that they even still have these big budget things, but it's probably why they push so many things in COVID, because no one can go to the movies to actually see these things, or unless they want to die.
And even now, like I feel like more people are staying home to watch it because like you can go get like a bunch of people together if you've got a big enough living room, and chip in like $5 each, grab some pizzas, watch a movie with your friends, or just wait the like 2 months and then watch it for free on your streaming service if you're paying for it.
Yeah.
I think the $35 fucking dollars to watch it like 2 months ahead of time or however long they have it is a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, at least you
Yeah,
get
if
to.
you want food and D-Box and all that kind of shit, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Although I am planning on going to see Shang-Chi next weekend, or Shang-Chi. I think that's how they pronounce it.
You gonna go see Candyman this weekend?
Probably not.
Mandy can?
Yeah, if it's not a Marvel movie, I don't usually go to the or superhero movie. I don't usually go to the movies.
But it's uh, that one guy who makes black movies. It's one of his movies.
Yeah,
Jordan Peele?
He's just producing
Yeah.
it. He didn't write it. But even still, it's not a superhero movie, so I don't give a shit. I'll wait.
I mean, if you hate kids, it's kind of a superhero movie. Maybe that's why Jeff was asking. He's like, "This is my superhero movie."
Yeah. Mass murderers are my superheroes.
You know, my favorite superhero, Jason Voorhees. You know,
Yeah.
Freddy, Garo. Although I don't think anyone will understand that.
Garo.
Watch One Punch Man, or read it.
Reading.
Hey, another thing in the Avengers movie, this is more like editing wise, is at near the end when after Loki tried to mind control Tony, he already had the spear in spear form, and then he walked out of the Stark Towers onto the balcony, and his costume was changing, but they also edited it to make it look like his spear was changing, and it just went from his spear back to his spear, and I was like, the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Took off the sharp.
Yeah, I think that was another thing when when he first did it in when he was in Germany, that like transition or whatever to him, that one scene, it was a little rough. I think they upped the shine on his armor to try and make up for it, but that transformation was not good.
Yeah. And then I don't know if this one's just like editing or just like bad timing in the fucking movie or whatnot. But when the helicopter come up to shoot at the Hulk, it wasn't a helicopter, it was like one of those weird jets. It shot like 30 bullets at him from like the Hulk's perspective. Then it changed to the helicopter's perspective, shot a couple more bullets, then the window broke. Like, those like fucking first 30 bullets didn't break the window? What the fuck?
Nah, just a
Very
hole.
strong.
Yeah.
It's actually made of tungsten.
So yeah, that for editing and like technical stuff, that was mostly just those weird little effects that I noticed, and the sound. The sound is what really gets me. It's
Yeah.
just the overblown.
Is that, but he can't listen to music in a movie.
I have no. Oh, I noticed that they did like the Avengers like little theme tune like 100 fucking times.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know what music was in this. Oh, and there was another like classic rock song when in Germany when Iron Man showed up.
Yeah, Shoot to Thrill, AC/DC.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't know what fucking music was in this shit.
Yeah, mostly just orchestral. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I don't know if this is technically technical, but from the cinematography side of it, and I guess it'd kind of be editing too, the fight between Thor and Loki at the end when they were on Stark Towers, that was just shot absolutely awfully. Did you notice that?
No, I was really pumped when Loki was getting just fucked.
9/10 of that fight was just like close-ups on Thor's face and then just like flailing in colors. There was barely any like back shots showing both of them like moving and fighting as like a choreographed scene. Most of it was just close-ups and flailing. I thought that fight scene was absolutely horrendous.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard to. I don't know. Their weapons of choice, I think, is just why it needed to be like that. Because when you got like it's a good size hammer, but like it's got short reach, and then the staff, which fucking what is it made out of? Because that hammer usually just like destroys everything, and it's just like nah, I'm not breaking this staff. No, I can't do it. Because he pranked it a couple of times, pretty good, and it was just pinged off.
You might have been holding back though, because he still had hope, right?
Oh, I guess so. But I would just break the staff. He loses his weapon, and then he's just like, oh, fuck. All right, I'll surrender because I'm a baby bitch.
But there, you got to think Thor might be thinking like, oh, there's always a possibility I break it in two. Now he's got two weapons.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I can't deal with it. It's too many. One too many.
Yeah. But he did have that sneaky shiv.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Pocket
understand.
shiv.
He's always got like sneaky knives. Why didn't he just use those?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're actually holding a hologram, and I'm behind you with all of these shivs.
It's,
Well, he used that in some part of it, and he just used them as throwing knives, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in the beginning when he first came through the portal. But just like, how do we tell the real Loki? Listen for the clanging. That's all his knives. Just
Is he the one
Ching,
making
ching,
footprint?
ching, ching.
um. All right, yeah, that's pretty good. That's not bad. Technical side actually seemed not as many issues as the other ones. So, I guess we'll jump right into the actual content of the movie and probably support since we usually always group these up together whenever we're talking. The plot of the movie is pretty basic plot. Um, bad guy shows up, team joins together to stop bad guy. So pretty usual and stereotypical writing for it, but I liked the pacing of the movie. It pretty much brings you right into the action right off the bat, which was awesome for me. And then it was a little bit of lulls here and there, but it didn't feel like the craziness where you get like insane amount of action and then just straight drop off with nothing happening in the scene, and then a bunch of action and then a drop off again. It was more hilly and not mountains, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they did a good job in this one following the standard storytelling procedures. They had the opening, the introduction to all the characters and whatnot. Even though like you need a lot of the other movies to actually know who these characters are, uh, which is a different point entirely. But then they had like the escalation, the inciting incident, all that kind of stuff, and which turned into the hero's first defeat. Then they reach a low point, then they bind together and defeat the villain and whatnot. It followed like the very basic storytelling stuff to a T, and that's I think what makes it flow well, because this is like a proven formula, right? It's exactly what most people do because it works.
Yeah, I agree with what you said with the more hilly. They always had they did a good job of ramping up the action instead of it just being like cut to shooting 17 explosions and then all of a sudden just grief, black room, tomato.
Yeah.
They'll
Um,
get you.
always. Well, I mean that's what you eat when you're sad, right? Tomato.
I hate tomatoes.
Exactly. So you eat them when you're sad.
When I eat them, I'm sad.
Yeah, and they also I think they did a decent job of giving noobs to the MCU a basic overview of the characters. Because I mean, like generally, I think you know the characters. Even you may not know specifics, but you know of them. Just because like they're so well known at this point.
Yeah, and they did. I think that's what they wanted to build, because especially when in the other movies, he was like near the end, it'll say like Thor will return in the Avengers, or like um, Captain America will be back type deal. So when you catch those near the ends of certain credit scenes, but for the most part, even like the Black Widow when she was in Iron Man 2, not hugely known, just known as like Natasha Romanoff, and then they gave her more stuff to do in this one. Same with Hawkeye and Clint. He was just sort of in Thor for a scene just to give us an idea. It'd be like, oh, this is Clint Barton, and you're like, holy fuck, dude with a bow. Oh, that's got to be important. And then he's just out there murking the goddamn Chitauri, which unreal. I love that. There was the one scene where he's looking down on everything, and then he just fucking um, just pulls an arrow right behind him, shoots, and takes out 3 dudes on a goddamn whatever their spacecraft thing is. And there's a bunch of theories saying that he either knew they were coming because he saw them earlier and then aimed it, or he saw a reflection in the glass on one of the buildings and then was able to shoot him there. Just spot on.
Well, that's Hawkeye. He's the hawk, the eye, the man that doesn't get wet in the rain.
And this is the only time in this movie. This was the only time he was actually called Hawkeye.
Yeah, he was called the Hawk, and then I think Natasha called him Hawkeye at one point.
Yeah, yeah. When she was getting chased down by Loki, when she was
Yeah.
up on that thing.
Yeah, I wish they like maybe they had another movie or something because there wasn't much room in this one if they wanted to keep it concise to like explore Natasha and Hawkeye's character because I still know absolutely nothing about Hawkeye other than he worked with Natasha on at least one mission in Budapest. Other than that, I know nothing about this guy. I don't care about that character in the slightest because I've never been given a reason to. I think the like him turning to Loki's side because of the scepter and whatnot, and having Natasha really upset about it would have hit harder if you knew about them and didn't just get these like exposition dumps of her talking to like Loki or whatever, right? If you actually saw and felt their connection, that would have made that whole like little subplot more powerful to me.
I will say, I think there is a reason they didn't go like that far into the subplot. They do delve deeper into their story in the coming movies. But since this was like I guess their first big appearance, yeah, she had like a minor role in Iron Man 2. But this was like their first big appearance as actual Avengers, so they didn't really go too deep into it. But I can guarantee you definitely see more of and get more of their backstories later on.
Yeah, I definitely imagine so. I'm just saying that the whole like little love connection there and her wanting to save them and all that kind of stuff would have hit home harder if I had known that before this movie rather than after it.
Yeah, yeah. I could see that, but I guess yeah, just probably they didn't want to overpower it. I think that's why they also used Loki as the bad guy. Like technically, it is Thanos that they're just teasing early on, but they just used Loki as the bad guy for this one, just to sort of build the team just to get together, and then they use that as a jump off point to try and get into um, what the fuck is it? I lost my train of thought because you guys are fucking hucking tomatoes. God damn it. Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's a jump off point.
Yeah. So yeah, jump off point in order to get to know the other characters and dive deeper into them because realistically they were almost like afterthoughts in the other movies.
Does
Where
Hawkeye ever get like his own movie or his own anything?
he's getting his own
Or
TV show.
is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Bet you sales for bows are gonna go way the fuck up. Mommy, I want it. All right, but we're only getting the dull points.
Fuck, those still hurt.
Yeah, my training tips just go straight through rabbits.
Um,
For fun? Are you hunting?
yeah.
Get them off the property. Most of the time I live trap them, sometimes I just shoot them.
Other times I've got this weird setup in my basement.
I enjoyed the dialogue a lot, and I guess that coincides with the writing. A lot of times it's just felt like they were actually just having conversations. Like the timing between the characters, it didn't feel like in some movies where a character will say a line and then they wait till the line's finished, cut to the other actor to get their reaction, and then present the line as well. It seemed very much like it flowed nicely, like it was an actual conversation, especially anything that happened with Tony Stark, just because he's a sassy bitch. But even when the other ones are talking with each other, like Thor, Captain America, or Captain America, Nick Fury, it just felt like a conversation, like it was happening right then and there.
Yeah, and I think they used camera work to their advantage as well because there was a lot of scenes that, if someone was going to reply, they were already in the shot, so they could just have them reply and not need to change the angle. The only time they really used like an individual up close shot was when that character was just like I'd say imparting something important, or they wanted you to focus solely on that part of the conversation, or if they're doing something sneaky like Tony sticking his little hack bug on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with Jordan. The camera work definitely helps with making it seem like it's one coherent thing instead of jumping back and forth, because a visual jar will give you like a mental jar as well, right?
Yeah.
There's one scene I definitely disagree with you, Zach. Like most of it was very well done, but at the beginning when uh, Natasha was being interviewed, I guess, by the Russians, she was on the phone. She said something, then paused, and instead of having Coulson respond, the Russian guy like mumbled something that he wouldn't have heard on the phone. Then Coulson responded. Then she responded. So like that was very clearly not natural, and I caught on to that. But yeah, it's like watching a. It'd be like watching a fucking sitcom with the laugh track taken off. You'd find all these awkward pauses that are made so that the viewer can like experience the laugh track or the side character saying something right, but in a real conversation, that's not how it would work. But that was really the only example of it I saw in this movie.
I need to clarify something before we go on. You guys don't hear a laugh track in your head?
I am the laugh track. I
You're the laugh track, all right.
Yeah, I die. I've seen this movie so many times, and I still laugh. I watched it twice this week to make sure that I could get my notes and shit in, and I laughed at every single part that I laughed at the first time I watched this movie. And that shows like just the just the um, well written script that they had, and then the delivery that the characters had too, because even though it might have only been like the second time for some of these characters to pop up on screen, they still had there was more comfortability and familiarity with the character than when you first see them. And like every time Tony Stark comes in, it just feels right. One of those things. Or Captain America, even Thor, when he's just like, careful how you speak. Loki is of Asgard, and he is my brother. And it's just like, yeah, he killed like 87 people, and he's like, he's adopted. Just things
Yeah,
like that were just great. You see him be serious, and he's just like, wait, nah, he's a piece of shit.
yeah.
And that might have
Uh,
gone to show, like, sorry to cut you off there, Jeff.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, they seemed immature in the movie. I would actually wanted to talk about this. Like, they seemed it went too quick from like literally Tony and Steve going like put on the suit. Let's go a couple rounds to fighting, and then Steve's just like something explodes, and they're like, okay, we're a team now. Everyone work together. Go put on their suit. We'll meet you at Engine 3. It didn't jive for me, especially with Tony, who does not play nice with anyone.
Yeah.
And one of my notes here, I literally have Tony Angie. Tony make punch on Steve. And that was when they were fighting in the lab, I guess, around the Mind Stone. Now, I noticed something, and I don't know if it was just me like making shit up or if this is an actual thing. Um, right before they started fighting, it did the close up on the or the staff,
Yeah.
sorry, and it like started reacting. Now, I don't know if it was reacting to them arguing or if it was like fucking with their minds, maybe distracting them, or just causing them to argue, because it seemed to just like go from 0 to 100 so quick. Or
Yeah.
sorry, 0 to 60 for our American listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually did. I wrote that note down. You can even see like the fact that they just start arguing. They're just going at each other constantly, which they had somewhat done earlier, but it was like an intensity thing. And you see the staff actually lighting up while they're doing it. There's more of a glow to it, which you kind of like. It's messing with their heads, which you'll see in Age of Ultron once you find out what the staff actually is. Spoilers: Infinity Stone. Um, and the Mind Stone actually is what gives Scarlet Witch, or not gives her power, but enhances her power. So and it releases even more and her ability to mess with people's minds. So that one I
Yeah,
did notice.
I think that was part of Loki's plan, was whether he was able to use the Mind Stone from farther away, or whether it was just kind of its own little semi-sentient entity. Um, I definitely think it was doing something because while he's in human form, the Hulk, I forget Bruce Banner, has complete control, but at one point he just had the spear in his hand and he didn't even realize it. So I definitely think there's a subtle fuckery or mind control happening with the stone, even with Loki not being in contact with it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I noticed a little bit at the end when he actually realized he was holding the stone or holding the staff. When everything like calmed down, it sounded like it was like booting down or powering down almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also wanted to know how Loki got to Earth because like obviously he used the Tesseract, but what like were they just opening a door on the other side of space, or did they have something or a way to activate the Tesseract? Because it's not like there's another piece of it on the other side of the universe, right? Like it's there. How did they use it to get him there?
Yeah.
And I don't know if they used the staff or maybe Loki just like locked onto the magic, but he looked fucked up when he came in.
Yeah, no, he was tired. His eyes were just shot. Like it almost seemed like he was like exerted himself. So I think maybe it might have been his magic because he did say when he first what the hell is it like projects himself to the other and then at the little Thanos lair that they had. Um, he said, "You question him, he who put the staff in your hands, who gave you ancient knowledge." So I think he knew of a way to actually activate the Tesseract from there, but it took a lot of energy in order to do so.
Maybe he just did a spell. He like revealed an ancient spell for him,
Yeah.
and it just like took a while to cast because he wasn't that good with teleportation magic.
I think I just googled it real quick, and
So you didn't think.
I agree with what I read. It was very poorly explained, or wasn't explained at all in the Avengers. But if you take the last scene of Thor into account, Loki already had control over Doctor Sevig or whatever his name is, and in the way people are thinking, uh, Sevig probably opened it from his side because what's his name? Fury and whatnot aren't going to know what the fuck Sevig's doing. They're not into it. So he can say it's acting up on its own, where really he's acting it up. He's opening a temporary portal to bring Loki there. When it's
Okay.
not technically him, it's Loki getting him to do it. But then Loki takes full control over them when he lands.
All right. Yeah, I can see that. That's I would go with that because realistically, that post credit scene really was like didn't seem
Not
to fit.
connected to this movie at all.
Yeah. So I guess
Yeah,
that works for it.
which was one of my complaints. The post credit scene gave like a completely different vibe than this movie did, and they didn't seem connected at all. I think they should have like even just a weird line or two at the end after Sevig come back to being normal after he got hit in the head or whatever should say that he'd been being controlled even before or something like that. Just give something to say, like connect the two movies, because that little teaser, if you didn't think about it or read that or whatever, had nothing to do with this movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Just like I don't agree 100% with that. Just because of what I know from Loki. As you find out later in like the Loki series, he can't control people.
So
So I
Yeah.
what
don't
was that
know.
post credit scene then?
I don't like that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's a continuity error that they have, or like maybe he was just watching him. Because I mean, like he did to Thor, right? Maybe he was just projecting there because as long as he knows the person or knows of them, he can project them and watch what they're doing without them seeing. Sort of like what he did with the Thanos. He's the
If he was just watching and whatnot and not controlling, I think them having him say a sentence and then Sevig say the exact same sentence after that would be entirely misplaced, because that's what gives you the sense of mind control, right? He says something and then the person immediately says it afterwards. So I am willing to bet it's a continuity error based on some of the writing flops from some of the other movies, because it's no matter how well they've done it, putting 28 movies and like fucking TV series and whatnot together and not having slip ups is going to be an extremely hard thing to do. And I think that once they got to the Loki TV show, they wanted to renege on some of the things they did before, right? Which, I mean, it's whatever. Retcon is retcon, but yeah, I would lean more towards he was being controlled by Loki and opened the gate from his side.
True. That would explain well, because I know, yeah, Fury did ask Hawkeye, because he was supposed to be watching Selvig, and he's like, nope, no, like no IMs, no emails, no nothing in or out. So I don't know. He's not like communicating with anyone, but that would make sense if like Loki was controlling him. He wouldn't have a way to tell that.
Yeah.
Right.
But one of the other things, with the writing, when Steve was like going at Tony, he's like, yeah, I know guys that don't have any of that, and they're 10 times the man you are. You're not the one to lay on the wire so the other guy can crawl across type deal. That one. And then near the very end, when that nuke is coming to fucking destroy a civilian population, which, what the fuck? That should have been the first clue that Hydra infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. right there. Spoilers, you find that out in a couple movies. But
whoa, I didn't know that one at all. Come on, man.
But yeah, and then he lays his life on the line just to bring that nuke and shoot it up into space. So that it saves everything. That one, and then I think from there on, anytime you see Tony, like he's pretty much just ready to sack the body. Like he is a millennial. He's just ready to die.
I mean, Tony's always been like that, right? Like he acts selfish and whatnot, but he was the one that put his body on the line to get the ship restarted. He was the one that threw the nuke. He's the one that does things in the at the end of the series and all that kind of stuff. Tony's always been like that, but they also want him to seem like a selfish character. So if you actually think about it, he's not at all. He's a rich, pompous asshole, but he's also does a lot of the good for the good of the people ever since he found out that his company was double dealing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree, but also I think with pretty much all those other situations, there was always a way out. So like with the turbine thing, he knew that there was a way that he could get out safely. Whereas with bringing the nuke into space, there was no for sure way that he would be able to make it back from that. He was just like, okay, I'll just do it, and then that's that. So I think there's a difference there. Like he definitely is an actual selfless person. He's just portrayed as the douchebag. But other than like the few odd times where he actually does like throw his body on the line, every time else there's always been some sort of solution or way out of what he's putting his body on the line for.
Yeah, well, like he said to Captain, right? Instead of throwing yourself on the wire, why not cut the wire?
Yeah.
There's always a better way than sacrifice. Almost always a better way than sacrifice.
Yeah, and I think that was just them putting him in that situation for the first time, really.
Yeah.
Because like he's experienced loss before, so he knows what that feels like, and he knows he never wants to experience that again. Like when he lost Hope. I know his name is Hope, but it translates to something else in his native language, and I can't remember. It was the doctor in the cave.
Oh, yeah, I have no idea.
Jensen.
The guy who hooked him up to the car battery.
Yeah. Jensen. A man named Hope. Also, I looked it up, and apparently, I guess it was just complete coincidence that they said the exact same thing, because Loki was just watching through Selvig's eyes. What is it? When Selvig met with Fury, he wasn't actually under Loki's control yet. Loki was simply watching through his eyes, one of the skills he learned from the other. Loki didn't actually take control of Sylvig until he used the scepter on him.
Well, that's just sloppy writing then, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you have a trickster like that, and then you make them say the exact same thing. You're instantly gonna think mind control.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like unless like the way I guess I would rationalize it is like if someone's watching through your eyes, I'm assuming they're in your head like slightly. So maybe Loki said it, so the
Power of
like
suggestion.
subconscious heard it, and then he just repeated it. Because like that shit, that's happened to me before. Like one of you guys have said something, and then I just didn't register it at all, and then I said it like a minute later.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. I think there's like if that's the case and Loki wasn't controlling him then yeah, they should have explained how Loki showed up there in the beginning, because they said for Thor to show up there that Odin had to use dark energy or dark matter or something like that. Is that how Loki got there? But that isn't, because they opened the Tesseract. So how'd the Tesseract open? There's some unanswered questions there for sure.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. And they, like the only thing that we could, without spoiling, obviously we're going to spoil it for you, but they're both Infinity Stones. So,
Yeah, I know the Tesseract's the Space Stone.
yeah, and then the staff is the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I think that might be like the connection that they used. Similar power signatures, maybe he could lock on.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, hey, while we get Zach to move on to our next topic, actually, never mind. I want to talk about something first. Loki, when he met Thor for the first time, he said that Thor threw him away, but Loki yeeted himself.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like that was maybe Thanos using the staff first and be like, or that's just like Loki being like, "No, you threw me away, you bastard."
Yeah.
And Thor being very confused. He's like, "You let go."
I think that. Yeah. Go ahead.
I took that more metaphorically, like threw him out like the trash kind of thing, not physically threw him. He just like threw him to the side instead of acting like family kind of thing, which he had every right to do because Loki was being a piece of shit. But I took it more metaphorically than literally.
Yeah, and I think it's just his view on everything. Like his view is the whole world is against me. Like everything is a slight, even though it could be something nice to do. But then there's always like he always thinks that there's some sort of underhanded thing happening, which I mean, like he was lied to most of his life. He was still a trickster and a little shit, but he definitely has reason to have some trust issues.
Yeah, but okay. The way I'd say that is like that's like not telling a child that they're adopted. I mean, it's not the same because he was like 1,500 years old, so that's like way more than the time. You should definitely have told him. But it didn't seem like his parents loved him any less. Maybe the Allfather, but that's just because he was racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think being a trickster, if you live a life of tricking, you tend to see tricks everywhere, whether they're there or not, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's like, what would I do in this situation? Well, I'd probably backstab them, so they're probably going to do that to me.
Yeah.
You end up becoming like obsessed with your own abilities and thinking everyone else is doing it too.
Yeah. He definitely was more badass in this movie. I will give him that. Loki was pretty good in this one.
Can I backpedal a little bit about dialogue? We kind of moved on before I could get a little bit out.
Yeah.
There was one line of dialogue that was fucking awful, and one that I thought was read into a little bit too much. At the beginning, when Romanov was being interrogated or whatever, the fucking "you really think I'm pretty" line was the worst line in the movie. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
That was so stupid. And then the scene where she's interrogating Loki, I like obviously they wanted to push that she got information out of him, but all he said was "you brought the monster," and she instantly was like, "Oh, he's trying to set Hulk onto us," which he was, which is fine, but he gave no real reason to think that. He's just like, "I'm not a monster. You brought a monster onto here." And she's just like, "That's your entire plan, isn't it?" I felt like she really jumped to conclusions there, which she was right, but I felt it was a little accelerated.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what you're saying about not getting into her backstory enough, because like later on you do find out like she's just ridiculously good at getting information out of people, and I think they had a little bit of a nod of that when she was like getting interrogated, quote unquote, by the Russian guys,
Mhm.
when in fact like they were just giving her everything she wanted, and she could kill them at any time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this moron is just giving me his whole entire plan. What? I didn't give plan. What?
Yeah. I didn't give everything.
Yeah.
Uh, a couple things about the plot and story. The one thing that's just like cheesy superhero stuff is when Iron Man gets hit by lightning and it says his suit's power is at 400% capacity. Do you understand what the word capacity means and what 400% means? No, that
He
can't
had
happen.
he had enough capacitors in his suit to handle 800%.
No. Um, Now maybe this is just me not remembering the end of Captain America very well, but all the other ones feel relatively connected. The Captain America one and Cap getting fished out, and they flash back to him being frozen, and then them having the Tesseract again, and all that kind of stuff. I feel like I was missing something there. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know. I
you
just feel like there's like a big gap there that I feel like I missed an entire story or something because
Oh.
I don't remember them having the Tesseract. I don't remember him coming out. I remember him being out and then freaking out because he's in like modern day when he'd been asleep for so long. But it's just it feels like there's a weird gap there. Was there a movie that come out before this one that's canonically like after it or something or?
no, we're watching them in canon order, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it did happen in Captain America. The in the beginning, that's when they found him in the ice, so they didn't actually show the thawing out part. Um, and then near the end of it, it did show Howard Stark finding the cube. So that shows where they like Shield actually had the cube, as they were trying to find Steve Rogers, but it was really quickly done. Those little nods to the first Captain America.
Yeah, okay. It felt disjointed to me. I don't know. Um, One of the lines at the beginning, I guess this should have been under dialogue, sorry, was the world, when they were talking about Thanos giving Loki the staff and whatnot. And I don't know, it sounded like the guy was the Chitauri or whatever his name was talking to Loki and said the world will be his, but the universe will be yours. That sounded reversed to me. Wouldn't the world will be Loki's, but the universe will be Thanos's? You don't
Yeah,
know who he's talking about. That sentence seemed backwards to me.
yeah. Oh, in that, yeah, the beginning part of the movie, it wasn't like he wasn't talking to Loki. He was actually talking to Thanos. Loki
Oh,
wasn't there
was
at
he?
that point. Yeah, yeah. Loki wasn't there at that point.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I thought he was talking to Loki because they were like showing Loki with the staff and all that kind of crap.
No, yeah. It's just it just shows later on that he projects up there, but yeah, he was actually talking to Thanos at that point.
Okay. And the biggest, most unrealistic thing of this whole movie, Coulson would have had those cards in card sleeves, so they wouldn't
Yeah.
have gotten blood on them, regardless of where they were.
I think he probably took them out of the card sleeves and just
Oh, I
rubbed them on
know.
Coulson's corpse.
I know,
Which I think is
but
super disrespectful. Like, did he actually rub them on Coulson's corpse, or did he just like have fake blood? And he's like, "Oh, I'll use
he
this.
probably just put his own blood on it because it's Fury. He doesn't give a fuck.
I'll bleed for Coulson." Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but when I saw that, I'm like, he fucking like worships those cards. He's not gonna have them out of a sleeve. Come on, Tony, you should know this.
Yeah.
Tony was traumatized from
Yeah.
almost being eaten by the engine.
um, but yeah, honestly, we probably went over a lot of the references and stuff too already going through. I did like the low levels of gamma radiation comment right at the beginning, and Fury be like, no, that can be dangerous.
Yeah.
We know this. And then at the very end, definitely setting up a future big badass villain when they showed that post credit scene of Thanos. Even with the bad CGI, you could tell like who it was, or immediately like the internet's lighting up like who the fuck was that? What was that guy? And then setting him up for the very end of the MCU Infinity Saga.
Yeah, my favorite part about that was the courting death line. I like that because I really like he's supposed to be a mad titan, right? I really like that angle from the comic books. Him just he's trying to kill everyone just so he can have death itself love him.
Yeah. And eventually, I think she actually falls for Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Deadpool in some of the comics anyways becomes immortal, is Thanos curses him with immortality so that he can never die and never like live with death basically.
Yeah. That's fine. Wait till fuck anything. But yeah, you guys notice any other nods that we haven't talked about?
Not really.
It's hard to see a lot of nods when all the characters are in the movie.
Yeah, and excuse me. Later on, it's more because it's still like the starting point, the little like lift off point to the actual Infinity Saga. There's not too many nods. As we go further on down the road, we'll notice a lot more, flipping back and forth, which is awesome. Just to give that extra bit of continuity and connectivity to the movies, just showing that it is an actual full 25 or 24 movie story, which I like because it's almost like you're watching like a TV show, like even the Marvel TV shows, like watching those and just waiting for the next episode and be like, oh yeah, and thinking back on the other ones, or binge watching through when they used to release them all at the same time, which they should start fucking doing again because this waiting is bullshit.
Keeps people subscribed for longer.
I'd stay subscribed because I forget to cancel.
Yeah, but other people subscribe for a month or a free trial, watch the entire series in one go, then unsubscribe. This way, if they release it over 3 months, they have to stay subscribed for 3 months.
Yeah. No, I understand. I'm just saying, like, fuck
oh yeah,
off.
I agree. It's scummy.
Yeah. But yeah, the next one we've got is.
Hold on.
Fuck's sake.
Before we go further, with the acting, okay, I want to say 3 things. When Scarlet was talking to Bruce Banner at the beginning, and he like yelled at her and she pulled her gun out, the look on her eyes was very good for like portraying fear, in my opinion. The angle of her head was a little odd, but the look on her face did a good job of actually portraying fear. Even though he hadn't turned, she knew his capabilities and whatnot, and I thought she did very good there. Loki in this one was much better than in Thor. I thought his acting and his pompousness and his confidence was much better in this one. I found his character to be a little weird, gone from like just trying to impress daddy to suddenly thinking he is the true king, even though he has no relation to them whatsoever. Thought that was a little weird, but I thought his acting was very good in this one. It feels more like a Loki than the last one did. And I've said it like a million times, the guy who plays Bruce Banner just does a wonderful job of always acting nervous. The hand wringing, the constant turning, the like ducking out of authority's way, even when he's part of the authority now. It's just, yeah, I think he did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
He's still nervous.
Yeah.
I have a question for both of you, and how the fuck did Selvig get on top of Tony Stark's tower without being noticed?
Definitely a plane. They had a jet. I think it was definitely a jet because Loki was also up there. And he flew off after they conquered Barton, and then Loki escaped. He flew off in one of the Quinjet things. So I think as they were driving there, they picked up Selvig after he finished all his shit, brought all the shit up with the carrier there, and got him up there.
No one noticed. Like I was expecting a call from. I think it'd be funny if they had a call from Pepper, be like, "Hey Tony, did you know that someone landed on top of the building?" She's just like, "Yeah, I got it. I'm on my way."
Pepper was in Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. but like
Yeah,
no one
sure.
else was in the building. You know, got security.
The security is Jarvis.
Yeah.
He's fucking shit at his job. Although I guess he couldn't really contact him because Tony had to grind the outside of his helmet before it would turn back on.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was a little off, but
You have to make it look like you're working on it. It's like, just give me a grinder. It'll work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into announcing the next unfortunate review, we got to get our ratings in. So, let's start with Jordan.
Numbers are a thing, and I have one for this movie. This one is an 8 for me. I would no. Yeah, 8. That seems fair. Just 'cause I don't think I've ever given a movie a 10. But yeah, like this is as close to perfect, I think, as you can get it. Like we said, there are the few errors there. It's stuff that I would like resolve, maybe re-edited, but until we go pure digital, I don't think it's going to happen. But it is a movie that I'm still noticing things in. I noticed for the first time they edited in when Thor was standing on top of the tower, holding back the army with his lightning. He actually, you could see him squeeze the building and it dented in, which I hadn't noticed before. It was only for like 2 or 3 seconds. It was very light, but I noticed it for the first time. So rewatching the movie, you always notice something new, which I think is good. Yeah, it's just a wholesome family movie. Lots of ass from Natasha.
Yeah.
So something for the whole family, you know.
And it's got the infamous boob jiggles scene.
Yep.
Yeah,
When she's bouncing on the chair.
Yeah.
Which is the only reason we were late to the podcast, because I had to watch the movie over and over again.
All right, and let's see how close we were to Jeff's rating.
This is a 5.4631, as Jordan made me do. No. No, I'll give this one like an 8 too, or a 7.5, 8, somewhere in there. I have no problems with the like actual content of this movie, and that's where a lot of my rating comes from. Like, I can give up some technical stuff as long as the content makes sense, and for the most part, this one makes sense. There's very little like things that I felt were just wrong. You know what I mean? My main complaint again would have been just like knowing more about Natasha and Hawkeye to make that little arc actually hit home harder. But I mean, I wouldn't have any problem with people putting this movie on around me. It's a decent movie. I think the acting in it is pretty good. Again, I have no idea what the music even was in this movie.
Just orchestral.
Yeah. The sound effects, I mean, I complain about it all the time, but it's pretty standard for action movies, so it's not like something that's going to push me away. It's just something that I notice. Yeah. It was fine. I have no problem with it, so probably like an 8. It's got issues, but it's fine. It's good.
Yeah. Perfect. And I'm giving it a 9. Unlike, I probably will actually have a couple 10s coming up. But this was a 9, entertaining. Like I said, I watched it twice this week, and realistically, I only watch review movies once. I probably should watch them twice to actually get good notes, but I could have watched it a third or fourth time. I love these movies so much, and the acting was done well. The CGI and everything was done well. The story was good. The dialogue between the characters were all great. So I would be the one to put this on again, yeah, at the party. Just to watch it. Doesn't matter what kind of party it is. I'm putting on the Avengers.
What if it's like a wake?
Oh, it's going on. There's death in the Avengers.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Which gives our total rating an 8.5. Which is pretty
That's
high.
not how numbers work.
Yeah, it is. 9 plus 8
8
plus 8 divided by
Yeah,
3
it's
is
8.33.
8.5.
Guys, that rounds up. He's one of those guys where you ask him the time and he says, yeah, it's like 5:45. And I say, no, it's 5:46.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like to be accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't do the 0.3s. That's just dumb. It's 8.5.
It's his least favorite number, Jeff.
Yeah.
0.3 because it reminds him of how long his dick is.
Yes. I was gonna make the same joke.
All right, and next week we'll probably be
Zach's favorite
streaming.
movie.
Yeah, we're gonna be streaming on probably Tuesday or Wednesday because we are going camping again. This is summertime. We like to do shit.
Yeah.
And we will be reviewing Thor: Dark World.
Zach's favorite movie.
But luckily, after I fucking watch this movie, I can go and watch the brand new movie Shang-Chi out in theaters September 3rd. You guys should definitely go see that. Marvel, if you wish to sponsor me and get in on this one viewer, yo, hit me up. Hit us up.
Us.
I'll split the money.
Greedy fuck.
Dude, it just happens, you know?
The 3 pillars.
Yeah.
Me, Jordan, you.
In that order.
Yeah. Anyways, don't forget to follow us on all those social things we talked about earlier that you heard there, but you're not going to hear here because no one watches all the way through. And yeah, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next time. You guys enjoy.